This isn't just another story. This is your story. Your triumphs, your conquest, your accomplishments, the things you've overcome. These are the things that make you you. But most importantly, these are the stories of what lies ahead. It's time to get re-inspired. Hey, welcome everybody. We're excited to have you in the studio today, one and only Kris Rogers. Kris, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, dude, of course. So I just wanted to kind of visit for a bit, get an idea of who you are, kind of what makes you stand out in your field and stuff like that, and just kind of have a conversation. Does that work?
Works for me.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning if that's cool. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up east of Colorado Springs
Okay.
in a small town called Falcon.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So there wasn't a post office, so people get confused with Peyton.
Okay.
Peyton, Falcon, same place.
All right. And then you grew up there, went to high school there?
No, so we actually went to school in Colorado Springs. When I say we, it was my brother and my sister.
Okay.
But we drove into the Springs to go to school, and then that's where I went to elementary, middle, and high school.
Okay. So they from Falcon into Colorado Springs to get you there.
Yep.
Okay. Right on. And then your mom, dad, a brother, and a sister?
Yes.
Where are you at in the lineup of siblings?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest.
So
Okay.
then goes my brother, then my sister.
Okay. Right on. And are you guys like a tight unit?
Yeah, we're close.
Cool.
We're not like, I see some people that are really, really close. And I'm like, oh, that's not us. You know,
Yeah.
not that close, you know.
So what did high school look like for you?
So I was actually in the International Baccalaureate program.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
No, tell me more.
So it's a kind of like a advanced education program.
Okay.
Where if you finish the program, you go to college with basically as a sophomore, not a freshman.
Oh, all right.
So I did that when I was in middle school. I got transferred. My mom and my parents were like, we'll go move you out here and you'll go to middle school in Falcon. And when I was in sixth grade, I would have all my homework done and asleep in class. And they got really mad at me. The teachers did.
Okay.
And so my mom was like, I got straight A's. My mom was like, you're not staying here. So then seventh grade, I started the International Baccalaureate program.
Okay.
And then I did that seventh, eighth, freshman year and sophomore year. And then it became more like a job in high school.
All right.
So that's I stopped doing that after sophomore year and got to enjoy my junior and senior year.
Nice. Did you still get the benefits from going through that program or?
No, because you had to do that junior and senior year.
Okay.
And that just cranked up the workload.
All right.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'd
Yeah.
rather enjoy high school and then go to college and enjoy that. So
What kind of stuff did you do in high school?
I ran track and played football.
Oh, really? What position did you play football?
I was a defensive back, so safety and corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then did you have any specialties in track?
No, I didn't do that. I got in a car accident, so
Oh,
yeah. I got hit head on in an ice storm, and they hit around and hit me on the side. So that kind of ruined my track career my senior year, messed up my neck for a little bit. So I
Wow.
just stopped. And,
Yeah. What were the extent of the injury for that?
I just had whiplash, and they were like, you can't run for a month and a half. I was like, all right, well, guess I'm done there. So
Okay. Did the other person walk away?
oh yeah,
Okay. Great. Yeah, that's crazy.
it was wild. Yeah, I was actually, my mom was like, you need to go get a job. And so I was like, all right, I'll go get a job. And so I went and picked up a bunch of applications back when they did paper applications.
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked up an application for Subway and I was driving back home and that's when I got hit. And my mom was like, oh, I was like, you told me to go get a job. I
Right.
told you not to ruin the car, but yeah. Yeah.
So, that's kind of a traumatic senior year. Wait, and so your parents discovered kind of the gifted and talented element of how you're going through school. Was it just because did they have you tested? Were you just finishing and staying well in front of the work? How did that flesh out to where you got into that advanced
I
program?
really don't know.
Okay.
In elementary school, I had to go to gifted and talented.
Okay.
And so they would pull me out of class to go to a
Okay.
separate class
Okay.
with like all the other gifted and talented people. And I was,
Yes.
so I was like, okay, cool. And like, yeah, that's what I did in elementary school.
Okay.
So
So you get through surviving a car wreck, senior year in high school. What next?
well, then I went to Colorado State University.
Okay.
So
CSU. All right. And what was that experience like? What were you studying?
so I didn't know what I was going to go to school for. And my dad still makes fun of me to this day because he's like, we should have just kept you back for a year and let you experience the world before you went to college. And I said, I understand.
Okay.
But I spent quite a bit of time there
Okay.
trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Okay. And what did you end up with your degree in?
So I got a degree in natural resource management.
Okay. What is that?
Basically like your Forest Service employees,
Okay.
your national park employees, your park rangers, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's what I got a degree in. I have also a minor in like GIS mapping.
Okay.
So I got that as well.
And what was the goal at the time when you had those things?
So the goal of the time was to actually like go be a division wildlife officer.
Okay.
Or to go design maps for the government.
All right.
And I actually, long story short, took me 8 years to get through college. Right.
Okay.
And that's not because I wasn't smart enough. I was probably too smart. So when I was a freshman, I found out that I could go to class and take all the tests and be fine and pass. My sophomore year, the classes got harder. I didn't realize that. And I got academically dismissed, and that was probably one of my lowest parts of my life.
Okay.
Having that conversation with my mom was tough. And she basically told me, she's like, well, it's up to you now. You can either go get a job or you can pull yourself out of this and finish college. So I got a full-time job. I started working there. I did worked at Subway at the time. And then I was a grounds crew, worked there so I was working kind of 2 jobs at sometimes.
And going to school to kind of earn your way back in, or what?
Yeah, I was only doing 6 credit hours. So that
Okay.
wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But I did that. And then I ended up working in the oil field
Okay.
for a while, which nobody in college should ever go work in the oil field because you make too much money and you're young and dumb.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So we would work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd go to class Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And so I only had 6 credit hours, but I was making really good money.
Right.
And I was still going to class.
Did you learn through that experience or through those different jobs what you wanted to do, what you liked, what you didn't like? Did it give you any clarity on like what you wanted the outcome of college to be?
So not really.
Okay.
The funny thing is sorry, we're kind of going all over the place.
No, it's
When I was a freshman, I took an aptitude test.
okay.
So a test to figure out what you'd be good at or what you should do as a career, because I didn't know.
Right.
I was like, oh, it'd be cool to be a DOW officer or Colorado Parks and Wildlife, whatever.
Right.
You know? I didn't know. So I took this test, and the first thing on it was real estate agent. And I was like, well, you don't have to go to college for that. So I went down to the next thing, and then it was like military officer.
Okay.
And I was like, I did. And then it was firefighter, police officer, and then it was basically Colorado Parks and Wildlife officer.
Okay.
And I was like, perfect. I love to hunt and fish. Might
Yeah.
as well go do that, you know?
Right.
That was my freshman year. And I didn't take that to heart or anything. So I studied construction, all that stuff at college. But then I went and did the oil field stuff because I was like, oh, that's kind of in my degree field.
Yeah.
And I know you can do really well for yourself. But I love that. And it was great. But I was like, I'm going to college still. And I need to graduate before I set a goal that I was going to get my degree.
Okay.
Just to prove myself that I could get it.
Okay.
So I did that. And then my buddy actually called me and he was like, hey, I'm starting up a property management group. He was a real estate investor at the time. And he was like, I don't know anything about kind of remodels or anything like that. You're very personable. Would you want to be like the leasing agent and do our remodels and kind of head that up? So it was me, his brother, and his brother's wife, and I was their first employee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still around today?
They are.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that's how you kind of got on the path of real estate. What happened from there? What was the next step?
So we grew that business quite a bit.
Okay.
They kept acquiring properties. We kept remodeling them, and then you would sell them for way more than what we bought them for.
Okay.
And it was a great job. I learned a lot because I grew up doing a bunch of construction stuff anyways.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew how to work all that. And they offered to give me my real estate license then, but I was like, I'm in school. I'm trying to get my real estate license. I'm working for you full time. Like,
oh, so you hadn't graduated yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So I was doing that. And then I was
Right.
like, I can't. I was like, man, I can't do this. I said, I can't get my real estate license this time. And that was 2014 or 2015 probably.
Okay.
And so I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I've got too much on my plate. And then at that time I did go back to school full time.
Okay.
So I started taking Usually 18 credit hours.
Wow. What was your experience post oil field, post kind of digging yourself out of the hole? Did you have a different appreciation for school, or was it something you're just trying to get through?
I was just trying to get through it.
Okay.
It was hard watching all my buddies graduate.
Yeah, I bet.
But I was just trying to get through it. Everybody else was getting through it. They're moving on with their lives, and I was still there.
Yeah.
But I just set out a goal to do it. I dug myself a pretty deep hole
Yeah.
with my grades, but yeah. So eventually I did get out of it, but I got back into school full time.
Okay.
And I was working for him on the days that I didn't have school. In the afternoons, I was working at grounds crew from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, taking 18 credit hours, and I had an internship doing GIS mapping. So I was working anywhere from like 40 to 60 hours a week while taking 18 credit hours. So
How did you? Where did the discipline come from to be able to do all that?
just myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you one of those people that when you make a hard decision, it's like, I'm doing this no matter what?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
people can tell me to do this or do that and do this, and I'll do it. But if I set my mind to it, I'll eventually do it. And when I do it, I'm going to go
Okay.
all the way. Like when I graduated, I think my GPA, like to get back into school, I had to have a 2.0.
Uh-huh.
Right? And so I didn't have a 2.0. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but I didn't. But when I graduated my senior year, all 400 level classes, it was a 3.75 GPA, or I think it was something like that, 3.75 or 3.8.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
To start below 2% and then finish.
Well, that's just what I graduated with.
Yeah.
But even my senior year, it was well above 3.5, 3.7.
Okay.
So it was pretty wild. I was like, wow, I can do this.
Imagine what happens when you apply yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. I had he was my 8th grade teacher. I got sent to this Catholic school in Maryland, and she was having a conference with my parents or something, and they were like, "How would you, describe our son?" And the lady's quote was, "The largest misuse of potential I've ever seen in my life." And so, of course, my parents shared that with me, but talking about like a punch in the gut. But I think some of it too is I was kind of bored with school, so I wandered off and got really good at things that didn't take place at school.
Yeah.
There was like scouting or climbing or, kind of the music, the stuff I was into. So it was hard. If I liked something, I could go all in and do really well.
Oh, yeah.
If I was bored with it or it didn't stimulate me, it was worthless.
Yeah.
And again, I wasn't smart enough to kind of gotta perform at a certain level over here so I can go do what I really want to do over here. So I think I can, that resonates with me. But
I joke with everybody, friends, family, all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm self-proclaimed doctor. I joke around with you with it.
Yeah,
But I'm like, and they're like, what do you have a doctorate in? And I'm like, socializing and networking.
yeah,
And because I did socialize quite a bit, I met a lot of people, and it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
yeah,
And I learned a lot of that, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I'm not embarrassed to say that I spent 8 years in college because,
yeah,
like, it is who I am now, and I learned a ton.
yeah.
So,
Oh, that's awesome, man. And I think that's the right way to look at it, man. Yeah, life's too short to have regrets and stuff like that. No. Yeah, you did learn a couple huge lessons, it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
But you also learned and kind of refined some skills too, I'd say. How did you get into real estate?
so funny thing was I worked for a big corporation. I worked for Milwaukee Power Tools. Worked for them for about 3.5, 4 years. Kept getting promoted, and then it got too corporate and decided to part ways. Started to part ways right at COVID. So COVID hit, and I had a company pickup, and they were like, all right, you got to turn your company pickup in. So my parents had to come down and get me.
Yeah.
I had a car waiting for me in Denver. I was in Arizona, so they had to drive me back up. They loaded the horse trailer with stuff, and
Yeah.
we drove from Arizona back to Colorado. And then I had my buddy, I was going to start using my degree. So when I graduated college, they told me, I started applying, and everybody's like, well, you could be a boat inspector. And I was like, that's great. And they're like, that's $8.25 an hour. And I was like, I said, I can't live off that.
Right.
So I stayed in the property management world. But I started working for Milwaukee, worked for them, like I said, drove back to here where COVID hit. And then I worked for an excavation company for 6 months
Okay.
because I was helping, my buddies were working for the company. They didn't own it. And so I learned a lot there because I was actually using my degree. We were doing like environmental restoration on creeks and stuff,
Yeah.
which was really cool. So I learned a lot there. And I was like, all right. And then I eventually was like, I don't really love doing this. We
Okay.
kind of joked around about starting our own company, and my buddy actually did. He
Okay.
was doing really well for himself.
That's amazing.
But I was like, what do you really want to do? And like, I started thinking about it. I went back to that freshman year aptitude test, and I was like, like you really enjoy helping people. You were supposed to get your real estate license, like when you were in college. You didn't do it. Like you succeeded there. You're really good with people. Solved any problem that came up. And I was like, I'm just going to get my real estate license and get into it. And I didn't know, I just thought you just bought and sold houses and helped people out. And at the end of the day, it's the simple way, but that's kind of how I got into it. But it's way more than that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to go back to that aptitude test you talked about, realtor, policeman, fireman, all those things are all careers in service. That's a military officer. It's all, what I like about that, it kind of, depending on what test you took, it lets us know kind of how you're wired. So it sounds like you're wired to serve and help people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All those professions kind of say that as well. So I think that's cool. And I also like the character arc of messing up a little bit, finding your own way, figuring things out. So you go to real estate school, you get your real estate license. What's next?
So, when I got my real estate license, I didn't know they don't teach you that in real estate school,
Right.
You don't use 95% of the stuff you learn in real estate school.
Yeah.
Like it's all basically on the job training. So I interviewed a bunch of different brokerages.
Okay.
Settled on Keller Williams.
Okay.
Because I was just blown away with everything. So I've been at Keller for 5 years now. Come February.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I started here, and then went through training, and I was like, okay, that's nice, but I need more.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is not gonna get me to where I want to go. I joined a team, learned a ton under the team. And you know what a team is, you're ready to describe that. So I joined a team, learned a ton. And then I really kind of found my niche and found what I really enjoyed doing because I read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And that book really changed my life because he talks about purpose.
Right.
And I kind of found my purpose in that book.
Okay.
And it was really just about like, I'm put on this earth to help people and just kind of be a positive influence.
Yeah.
Is what I found out is
Right.
just because that's what fills my cup up more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I like to go fishing and hunting and do all the outdoor stuff. Like that helps. But at the end of the day, it's like really helping people with what they need help with and helping them realize their potential.
Yeah.
Really helps me out. So
I love that word. Did you say meaning? Your purpose?
mm-hmm.
I know people that are in their 50s and 60s that never figured that out. What do you like about that? You alluded to filling your cup up and stuff like that, but what really resonated where you went, holy smokes, that's me, or this is what I need to be doing?
I mean, it just kind of, it kind of led to a culmination of everything that I've been doing before, right?
Yeah.
Like, learning about the environmental side, like you learn so much that I didn't even know that would go into real estate, like soil testing and why things, stuff like that. And then it, like the sales of Milwaukee helped me like learn how to help people solve a problem because that's all sales is, right? They have a problem and they're trying to buy something to fix it. Right. That's what real estate is you have a problem and you want to fix it. Right. If you do it yourself, you would. But you just have somebody that's there. And that's why I just kind of, I don't know if this answer's making much sense, but it just kind of.
No, it's telling me that the path you wound up, whether you were intentionally there or not, landed you kind of where you are today, which is crushing it as a solo agent, affecting a lot of people's lives in a positive way, right? Whether you're helping them buy or sell a home, or you're getting in a relationship with people so they can see, hey, I can actually do this. I could actually qualify for this. This could actually be something for me and my family. And I think one of the things, just knowing you pretty well, is it's almost like a flywheel. Every time you get to help somebody, it fills you up. So the energy stays high, or you stay in rhythm. So no, it's really cool. So you went out on your own, solo agent, and what do you think makes you different or unique compared to maybe other real estate examples? And not talking smack on anybody, but just what makes you you?
Um, I would say that like what you see is what you get, right? Like
Okay.
I'm not gonna be pushy. I'm not gonna because I did that, right? Like I've been pushy before. I've done the pushy sales, and like I don't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I tell all my clients this. I tell people that I just met on the first time, like, look, I'm here to be a resource. I'm an open book, right? Like anything you need to know, you ask me a question. I don't care if you think it's dumb or not. It's because it's not a dumb question. There's no dumb question, right? You just don't know the answer,
Right.
and like you might as well just. And if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna go find it out for you. Well, we're gonna learn together. But it's like I'm just there to be a resource and help, right? And
Yeah.
like the choose your own adventure books,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Now that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, look, we're gonna have different options. We're gonna have option A, option B, option C. We're gonna go through the pros and cons of each one, and then we're gonna kind of go down that path, whatever you choose, because it's your journey. It's not my journey, right? I'm
Right.
just here to help you and guide you along the way. And so I think that really helps me out because I'm not saying you have to do this or you have to do that. I just say, hey, look, these are your options, and this is what do you want to do, and here's your pros and cons because we're a team at the end of the day.
Right.
So
I think it's a great way to look at it. And I know I'm just interviewing lots of agents and kind of being in this ecosystem here is, you talked about the salesy thing. And I think a couple things. Number one, I think if you are transactionally based,
Mhm.
it's you don't get the fulfillment out of it because you're like, oh, this is done. I got to go on to the next one. And so being relationship based, I know is something you're really good at connecting with people. The other thing too is I think this is a true statement too. If you wake up every morning and you're going to try to chase a dollar, you're never going to catch it, or it's going to be costly when you do.
yeah.
You're working,
Mm-hmm.
you're having to you work too hard for it. But if you wake up with, um, a servant's heart, and you're like, all right, I'm going to wake up. How many people can I help today?
Yeah.
It's a completely different existence and the quality of your life, right?
Oh yeah, it makes you a lot. I mean, makes you a lot happier, right? Because
Yeah.
you're serving people instead of just kind of doing the day to day tasks, the mundane that get old,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Um,
Or feel soulless because,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between being in a relationship with somebody and they saying, hey, we thought now was a good time, but now's not a good time, versus trying to beat a closing out of somebody.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like, are you trying to serve yourself or serve somebody else? And so it's interesting to see where that comes in different people's journeys. So how long have you been a solo agent now?
Excuse me. Probably about 3 years now, I think.
Okay.
A little over 3 years,
Yeah.
or about 3 years, I'd say.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about being a solo agent? And again, not knocking being on a team or anything, but what are there freedoms? Are there practices? What do you like about being a solo agent?
Probably my favorite thing about being a solo agent is that I get to run my business how I want to run it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Being on a team was great because I learned a lot and that expedited my learning process.
Yeah. Totally a proving ground.
Yeah. It was leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else, felt like, that I started with. But when I was when I became a solo agent, it opened up my world to like, wow, I can really do all of these different things and how I want to do it. It's not, I have to call these expireds or I have to do this, I have to do that. It's like, oh, I can run my business how I want to run it and how I can help people, how I want to help people.
Yeah.
And it's not, you have a boss basically.
In that transition from a team to a solo agent, did you find like maybe your niche or discover, hey, this is the way I'm going to do it because this is more authentic to who I am as a person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So like the problem I had was when I was on a team, right? Like I was taught what to say and how to say it.
Okay.
Right. And I had to say it verbatim, which sometimes that helped. Most of the time it did. Right.
Yeah.
Especially with my friends. Like I was constantly asking, like, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell? Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell?
Yeah.
And like I'd get so many of those calls and everybody would be like, no one. Or they'd stop hanging up the phone on me because I was constantly asking them for business. And it wasn't me. Right. And it wasn't my authentic self. And when I started to realize, like, well, why did you get into this business? And it wasn't to buy and sell real estate; it was to help people.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of all of it's difficult, but like you're there to help people. And when I figured out that I was just there to help, it's like, okay, well, how can you frame that question of like, because people don't know what they don't know, right? And
Right.
you just like, well, if I could just frame that question like, how can I be a resource for you? You're going more as a servant to say, hey, look, like, how can I help you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they say, no, I don't need anything, at least they know, like, hey, yeah, like I can pick up the phone and call Kris and he'll give me an aquarium guy. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
just as random, that networking in college really paid off because I figured out how to network and people come to you to ask you questions about stuff that you don't even think about.
Yeah. Well, I think you just hit on something too. And I don't know if it was a light bulb moment for you or not, but transitioning from who you thought you needed to be, maybe on a team or the role you played there, to going, I'm not going to sell you any, I'm going to serve you in any way. Was that kind of a light bulb moment where it's like, oh, wait, this ties directly back to that purpose I discovered?
Yeah, it was. And
Just
like,
the vehicle for that is real estate.
yeah, it is. And it's awesome, right? Because like, I get my cup filled by helping people. Like they get their questions answered.
Yeah.
They know they have somebody in their corner.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's not like another sleazy realtor or whatever they want to say. Right. No offense to the. No, it's just like they just know like I can go to Kris and I can get help from him and he's gonna answer my questions.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Like it really just helps me out and helps me feel happy and yeah.
So showing up as yourself is kind of a superpower.
Yeah.
For you and for the client or end user or whatever.
Yeah. Well, because they're going to see through the BS there.
Right.
Like, if you show up as somebody that's not you, then as soon as you're yourself, they're going to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like dating people. You know, you go to date somebody and you show up as who you think you are versus who you actually are.
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't end well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? That's really cool. And I also think there's some lessons you got to learn earlier than most get to learn them, right? And what I mean by that is I know, in your 20s, everybody's trying to figure out who they are. People start kids, your 30s. I think a lot of people are like, oh gosh, they have this over here, so I got to start keeping up with the Joneses. And in the 40s, you're just trying to afford and figure out how you're going to send people to college and investments and stuff. And so I think, just listening to your story, you got to learn a couple of these lessons on the front end instead of having to pay the price on the back end. And part of that was based on things that maybe you thought was you messing up. Mm-hmm. That statement of, well, I'm tired of seeing all my friends graduate.
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting. And I love how I don't think there's one way to do it right. So I think being strong enough and secure stuff and secure enough in who you are to say, all right, well, it's not perfect, but this is how I'm going to choose to do it. So I think that's cool. All right. So you're running your own real estate business. You're doing quite well, right? Some numbers just came out. I saw them today. Number 11 out of over 200 plus agents, right? And I know, regionally you're rated and stuff like that. This fills your cup. Let's talk about stuff outside of real estate. What kind of stuff do you like to do in your spare time?
I love to fish.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
That's my main passion in life. Like I was born and raised doing outdoor things, camping, stuff like that.
Okay.
Like,
now, are you sitting in a john boat with bread and going for catfish?
we have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I started. Like one of my first memories was catching a ton of rainbow trout with my dad and my brother.
Okay.
With a little push button reel. We caught a ton of fish. Cottonwood Lake is where we were. That's a secret spot, but not anymore.
Okay.
Anyways, but no. So it really kind of, once I started fishing again, I really got into fly fishing.
Oh.
And that really kind of opened up a whole different world to me.
How so?
It really made me kind of find my peace and my Zen moments. Yeah.
I can, there's something. I heard a guy say one time, I think it was this gentleman, Izzy, our producer, Paul, and I know, said you can't let catching fish get in the way of fishing. And this guy supposedly would go on a beach, hawk something out way into the ocean, sit in the lawn chair, and it turned right. But he was in that moment. And I know I've experienced it, standing in a creek with just all the stuff going on around you. It's puts you in a good spot. So I also think fly fishing is almost like bow hunting. It's skill on skill. You know what I mean? Tell me more about the passionate parts of fly fishing. I get the concept of your Zen spot. Do you feel grounded to like the environment? The noise comes down a little bit.
Everything kind of quiets down, and it's just like you're just at peace. Like the river's flowing, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at it like that, well, you're never going to see that water ever again, technically, because it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like life. You know what I mean? Like if you're sitting in one spot and you're constantly sitting there, you're watching life go by.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly moving and like you just gotta just go and do it. And like, I don't know, I'm not making sense right now, but it's like,
Is it one of those few times in life where you feel absolutely present and in the moment?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're at peace, you're in nature, you're grounded. You're just relaxing and it doesn't matter. The world's paused and
Yeah.
you just get to hang out there. What I really enjoy is like, I love to fish and I love to catch fish, but I really love to teach people how to fish.
Tell me more about that.
Because, well, I just love like watching somebody catch their first fish
Yeah.
is cool. Watching them catch their first fish on a fly rod, because there's so many other things that you got to do, is a whole different ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sharing my passion with them.
Okay. Tell me about Horizons.
Oh, Hook Set Horizons. So that's an Instagram page that I created. That it's kind of, I haven't done much with it recently. I started it and I got excited about it, and
Yeah.
hopefully it comes to something one day. But that's just a fishing page where like everybody always sees the guys that are holding the big fish,
Right.
but they don't see all the other stuff, the laughs, the jokes on the side, the tangles, like
Right.
the whole moment of the thing. And that's kind of what I was trying to design that to do, is make that just kind of a fishing page for everybody, not just, hey, we catch big fish, but it's like, this is kind of a whole different atmosphere that a lot of people don't get to experience.
Not everything's the Orvis ad.
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned you're passionate and you love teaching people how to fish. Where have you done that in any other settings?
So, I don't know how many people how to fly fish,
Okay.
right? And then I watched them do that. And one thing I really got involved with was Project Healing Waters. I started doing that.
Okay.
But then also Fishing the Good Fight.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about those.
Project Healing Waters, I need to get more involved with them.
Okay.
But that's a military-based organization.
Okay.
So it really focuses on vets and teaching them to find that peace and that inner zen on the river or fishing and stuff like that. So I'm not a vet. I wish I was. I kind of regret not joining the military, but I was able to kind of get connected with them, and they were like, you should definitely come volunteer, because you have conversations with all the vets and everything that everybody else has, and like you connect with them, and they're like, you should definitely come. So they've asked me a couple times, I need to go do that.
Yeah.
But Fishing the Good Fight, that is a really cool men's organization. It talks about mental health.
Okay.
And they relate it to fishing.
Okay.
So what they do is, what they're really known for is they have these retreats. And they told me I should volunteer, but I should be a participant first before I actually like started volunteering for them. And so last April, I was a participant, and I was like, man, I've never done men's therapy or anything like group therapy. I did a little bit of therapy, right?
Yeah.
I have depression and shame that I've worked through and all that stuff, but I was like, okay. And I was a participant for that group. And so there was, I don't know, eight of us in the room, I think, something like that. And we basically we got there, and you have a volunteer that's going to teach you how to fish.
Okay.
Or be basically your buddy on the water.
Okay.
And so you do men's therapy, like group therapy, and then you go out on the water. So you do a session in the morning, then you go fishing. And then you do another session, then you go fishing, right? So it's a lot of mixing back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best organizations I've ever seen in my life.
Did that trip as an attendee, did it have an effect?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was pretty profound, actually, because I was talking to my therapist at the time, and I was like, hey man, like, I was like, what am I going to tell him? Like, I'm good. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have any issues. Like, what are we going to do in group therapy? And he was like, dude, just tell your story. And I was like, what? And he was like, just tell your story about you. He's like, you're maybe good now, but at one point in time, you were really bad. And I was like, I know I was.
Yeah.
He's like, just tell him that and be you in that group.
Okay.
And when I was a participant, the therapist came up to me. He was like, hey, thanks for really kind of being there. And you made that whole group really happy because you were able to crack jokes when it's crappy.
Right.
I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss on this. It's that whole unavoidable suffering that Viktor Frankl talks about.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
life's going to suck, but it's how you deal with the suck to get to the good point. And so, like, we might as well laugh and have fun along the way. And so that's what I did in the men's group is, like, sure, we had guys that are going through stuff, right? But, like, if you make light of it, then it's easier to get through.
Yeah. It's feel like you're not alone. Too. Like that guide in kind of two ways. One is a fishing guide, another is just someone there. Yeah. Have you gone back as a volunteer or as a...
Yeah, so I went back as a volunteer last year.
Okay.
I went back and it was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, because you get to the house and they're always in nice places.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gorgeous. I mean, you're on the river.
Yeah.
But you go and you have the participant with you, so y'all get together. And then you kind of have like a nice little circle up and everybody talks about why they're here, right? And so they kind of get to know the volunteers and they tell their story, right? So funny story, I was sitting there, we circle up, right? Group like 20 to 30 guys. And I'm sitting there and the guy leading the speech, he's like, okay, now we're going to the volunteers and Kris start. And I was like, first time volunteering. I was like, whoa, all right. Like, what do you want me to tell? He's like, just tell your story. So I had to and the whole mood, the whole night changes because like it's laughing, everybody's having a good time. And then it gets super serious because you're talking about serious stuff.
Yeah.
And I went straight on. I was like, yeah, like I was depressed. Like I was really depressed and that's a whole different ballgame. But
Yeah.
I had to tell that whole story in front of all those guys. And they were like, whoa. And so like they automatically relate because all the participants, they're going through stuff and they're like, yeah, these guys are sharing their stories of what's happened to them and where they're at now. And so you automatically kind of relate to each other.
Yeah. That guy's up front because he's already made it through what I'm going through.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So then that's really cool because then when I was the volunteer, right, because I was on the other side, I didn't get to see that because when I was a participant, right, like everybody I fished with, I was like, yeah, we're just buddies fishing. Like, you don't got to pick up a few things, but like,
Yeah.
I've been doing this for long. Like, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
And when I was the volunteer, me and won't say any names, but we got partnered up, and it's really cool because you kind of know their story, but you don't know their story. And when you spend 2 or 3 hours with nothing but a fishing pole and the river, like you can hear some serious stuff, and you form like a really deep friendship with those people that you're able to kind of share your story with.
One of the other opportunities it creates is, and again, I'm not a mental health expert or anything, but from a societal standpoint, I know a lot of guys feel like they're not allowed to be weak or they're not allowed to be vulnerable, or it's not manly to talk about your feelings or admit that you're struggling and stuff. And so to actually have an environment where you can do that and not feel weak or not feel vulnerable or at risk that somebody's going to use something against you, I think is something that's needed, man. Because, I do a lot of veteran work and stuff like that. I've had my own struggles with stuff like that. I was at the VA hospital up in Cheyenne, and they had years, but they had posters up everywhere. It said, "The strongest thing you can do is go ask for help."
Mm-hmm.
And when I was finally in the mindset to understand what that was saying is when it got powerful. Until that, it was like, psh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? And so that work is incredible, man.
Yeah. One of the biggest questions I've ever, like everybody asks you how you're doing, but nobody asks you like how you're really doing.
Yeah.
And so like if you ask anybody, right, how are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm good. I'm fine. And you ask them like, how are you really doing? Then they kind of perk up and they're like, oh, like I'm really not okay. and they'll start telling you. And yeah, I mean, it's just, some people just need to talk.
Yeah.
That's all you really got to do.
Well, and sometimes somebody needs to give a shit enough to ask that deeper question.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of your business is based around events, or at least it has been the last couple of years. And a lot of those events are based around your passions with fishing or camping or shooting. How has all that come together, and has that had a positive effect on your business, and how so?
Yeah. So, my coach, Lindsay, she kind of came up with the idea. I had the idea, but she kind of really made me do the idea.
Okay.
She was like, well, let's kind of get you to do some events every year. And so it's had a huge effect on my business.
Okay.
Right.
How?
Just because you're getting people together, right? With COVID, everybody kind of learned to be kind of solo, and they don't want to go out in public, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, let's have a good time, because like life's too short. You might as well have fun. Like, you don't know when you're going to die,
Right.
Fall in the line. You can't cut it.
Yeah.
You can't get out of line. You can't jump front. Like, we don't know where we're going to go. So it's like, let's all have fun together. And that's kind of how I came up with my events, is I was like, what's something that I enjoy doing that I think other people would enjoy doing that nobody else is doing, right? So that's why I came up with the 3 events I have, which are a Super Bowl party, right? Which everybody has a Super Bowl party,
Right.
But I was like, let's go to a place where there's like bowling, projectors, the game on there. We have arcade, so the kids can run around. Like, you have laser tag, like,
Yeah.
So I started doing the Super Bowl party. I haven't had that yet, but I will.
Okay. It's coming up in like 2 weeks.
Couple
Two
weeks. Yeah, the Broncos aren't in, so that's kind of sad. But
yeah.
then I did a camping weekend.
Okay.
Last week, which, if you ask, I've talked to a bunch of other realtors.
Last week or
last year. Sorry.
okay. I just didn't know if I missed something.
No, you're good. Yeah, last year. But what I came up with, I was like, well, let's rent out a campsite for 100, 200, 300 people. Let's have a fire, marshmallows, all that stuff, and let's bring up a whole smoker for a pig. And everybody is like, you're gonna roast a pig in the mountains? And I was like, yeah, with all my buddies, and a lot of my realty friends was like, that's crazy. Like, you want to spend that long with your clients? And I was like, yeah, they're all my buddies. Like, I might as well, So we did that, and that went off phenomenal. Like, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It was great.
You guys spend a ton of face-to-face time with people like and trust you, and people that you know.
Yeah, I got to hang out with all my friends and family, my clients, everybody, and like watching those people connect and realize that, like, we actually went hunting with one of my clients. Like, he came to the event, we hit it off, and I was like, hey, he's like, you want to come hunting? He came hunting with us.
Oh,
so
nice.
it was really cool. So that was a big event I did, and then I did a Pull for Patriots,
Okay.
which is a sporting clay tournament.
Okay.
Because I like to shoot sporting clays, and for those that don't know, it's like golf.
Right.
Golf with a shot. And so all those proceeds went to Grunt Style Foundation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just kind of had a little tournament and had a good time, and it was great. And thanks for your help with that. But yeah, everybody was like, well, how big do we want to make this? And I was like, I don't know, like 200, 300 people. And I was like, that's a little big, but we could do it. But yeah, it's been great. It's been great for my business. It shows who I am. It lets me put like-minded people together, people that I like and trust. And yeah, it's been phenomenal.
So it sounds like since becoming a solo agent, you've found a way, whether hyper intentionally or found a way through guidance and coaching and stuff, to build a business around who you are as a person. So you get to show up every single time as who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that pays really well too.
It does do. You do all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not about the paychecks.
I hear.
It's about helping people.
Yeah.
And being that resource and having fun along the way.
Okay.
Right? Because it's stressful buying and selling a house. It's emotional, right? I've had people that I didn't know were going to cry cried me, but it's like, we're going to make fun of it. We got to have fun with it, and we just got to have a good time.
So let me ask 2 questions.
That's all you get is 2. Okay.
If a brand new agent showed up that just got their license, what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them?
Yeah.
The first 2 years are going to be brutal.
Okay.
And you have to want it. more than everybody else out there, because that's where me failing in college really kind of hit home. Because it's like there's been times where like I have zero money in my account. Like
Yeah.
I got nothing. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, I don't know how I'm going to buy groceries. I don't know this. But as long as you keep persistently showing up for you and not for anybody else, you will succeed in this business.
Okay.
And be you. Be 100% you. Because if you're not you, then your clients are going to see that. Everybody's going to see it, and you're not going to enjoy it.
Okay.
So
That's been kind of a theme. I love that. And then my last question, 10 years from now, where is Kris Rogers? What is he doing?
10 years from now?
Yeah.
Um,
We go 5 years from now.
Well, 10 years from now, ideally, right? I would love to have a family of my own.
Yeah.
You know, love to have a business that's insane, right?
Yeah.
That people know that they can just give me a call and I'm there. But also, like, I would love to just have different places that I could go and fly fish in different places. Like, I went to the Blue Bonefish Lodge twice, once this year, once last year.
Okay.
And that was amazing. Like, that opened my world to a whole different ballgame.
How so?
I mean, like, catching fish in Colorado is cool,
Yeah.
but catching fish in the saltwater is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And the bait you're using is the size of the fish you're catching, or the flies you're using,
Okay.
you know? And you're catching huge fish.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like, it's unbelievable. And, like, it's cool in the mountains. Like, but I'm born and raised here. Right?
Yeah.
Like, going to see different places and see different things, try different food. Like, I would love to be wealthy, being able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want.
Right.
Right. And just still helping people. Like, hey, you want to go fishing with me for a week? You know?
Right.
That would be awesome.
Okay. So it sounds like an element of financial freedom. When you want, and with who you want.
Yeah.
That's a good goal, man. That's a real good goal. Anything else I need to know about you, or anything else we need to talk about today?
I think we're good.
Dude, I think you were good too, man. This was amazing. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks,
And dude, I can't wait to see where you take this. I think you have so much potential, and I think you bring so much vibrance to any room you walk in. And I really appreciate that about you, and I respect it.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Kris, brother. That's all we got with Kris for today. Actually, we'll tag Pull for Patriots. We'll tag Fishing the Good Fight and Project Healing Waters down below. There's different ways for you guys to get involved. And then also look for Hook Set Horizons so we can see all Kris's crazy fishing adventures. But thanks for being with us. And again, thanks, Kris. We appreciate you.
Thanks, man.